What's up, Leron here. Today I have something really cool for you. We're gonna unbox this mystery pink box containing a mysterious pink palette. Now, if you remember, a short while back, I've been using this Paul Rubens paper. I actually finished the whole pad, and I got this from a brand called Arrtx. I'm gonna tag them somewhere here on Instagram. So they sent me this paper and also this palette that I didn't yet have the chance to try out. So we're gonna unbox it now. It's really fancy, so I wanted to do this on camera. And I'm gonna show you what's in it and maybe we'll give it a try. Okay, so here is the box, and as you can see, it is quite nice and fancy. Paul Rubens, artist's watercolor, artist's transparent watercolor, and in every possible language. I have no idea what this means, but LY is like Lironian Konski, so who knows? And yeah, it looks like it's pretty much the same from every side. So let's lift up the top part. And there you can see, this is really nice. Whenever they wrap a palette in a cloth, I really like that kind of thing. I mean, it's way too fancy for me, but I still like it. So here we go, that's one. That's two. Let's just pull this thing out, and I'm gonna show it to you up close. So here it is. It's really nice because this is a generic palette. I actually have quite a few similar ones with the ring for the thumb ring, so you can hold it up on location. I actually had, again, quite a few of these palettes, but then it's pink and it has this Paul Rubens branding on it, which is really nice. So let's open it up and see what we got inside. Okay, so really cool. We have the pans, and then I had no idea if it's gonna be somehow, you know, tubes or pans, and we have these little pamphlets. So let's look at these first, what we have here. So that's all the paints. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 24 total paints. I guess this is kind of their brochure showing all of the 48, I suppose, or 96. I don't know how many there are here. Probably 96. So quite a lot of them. If you can actually read what it says in Chinese, bless you. And if you want to write a translation, that'll be nice. But we're not gonna attempt to do that. I actually know a bit of Japanese, and it's a similar lettering, but that's just not gonna happen now. A bit of that, and all of the pigments, and everything is in Chinese. So that's interesting. Now let's look at what's this thing here. Okay, so this is like a test paper, I'd assume, for the 24 paints. So it's also a test paper, but it's also a matching game, because I have no idea which one is which. It just says the pigment, so I can actually match the pigments, which is nice. But yeah, that could be a fun game for me in just a moment. And here we finally have the pans. I'll have to probably pop each and every one of those out and then take out the covering. Which I don't really want to do because that tells me what each one of those is. But I'll have to, maybe I'll snap a couple of photos and then we'll figure it out. But before we go on and remove everything, I just want to go over the paints real fast with you. So here we have permanent lemon yellow, cadmium yellow medium, Indian yellow, cadmium red light, scarlet, madder red, violet, permanent violet, cobalt blue, French ultramarine, it says France ultramarine actually, sky blue, sea blue, tons of blues, Prussian blue, Payne's gray, yellow green, tree green, hooker's green, emerald green, it says emerald, yellow ochre, what's this thing here? That's Pozzuoli red ochre. Okay, that's interesting. Umber, burnt sienna, burnt brown, and coal black. So very interesting paints. Here you go. Sorry I didn't show it properly. All of the paints. Now we're gonna remove all the rest of the different tapes and stuff and show the palette in its final form, ready to create. Here we go. We've got all of the paints exposed. Let me show them to you up close. And I actually taped all of the stickers here so that I know what I have everywhere. And what I want to do now is to start maybe swatching these here just so that we can take a look at what each and every one of these look. I'm gonna follow the catalog number, because that's the only thing I can really tell here, and the pigment, and figure out which one is which, because I noticed they do have some possible mistakes with some of the colors that don't match here. So we'll get started. So I'm gonna swatch these real quick, and if you know me, you know that's way too many colors for me. I don't usually use as many. So this is just for fun, really. So now we have the permanent lemon yellow. There's gonna be some confusion with the paints. I can already tell, because it's all I guess in Chinese or Korean. Sorry, it's not Korean, it's Chinese. So in any case, this is the permanent lemon yellow. So that's what it looks like, and hopefully you can see it well. I'm gonna try and get it to be a little stronger, but it is quite strong. That's how it's supposed to be. And next up we have the 243, so that's the cadmium yellow medium. So here we go. So that's gonna be a bit more orange. Yeah, okay, that's here. That's so confusing, man. I should have written these elsewhere, but in any case, so that's that. Next we have Indian yellow. So this one's even more orangey. And I may, if this little piece of paper confuses me, I may just go with whatever color I want, really. I'm just gonna move on that way, I guess. And if it doesn't match, then that's too bad. So that's that very subtle difference. And you know how I'm probably gonna look at these, find the most transparent and light fast ones, and just end up using them. And I'm gonna talk about that in just a few moments. Here we have cadmium red light. That's beautiful. I love cadmiums. And this one is really nice looking. Just made sure that all of the cameras work properly. This is really nice. The paper isn't really that, it's not a real watercolor paper, so I'll have to test these out on a real paper. But these are really nice so far. This is PR108. That's a common one for cadmium red. Here we have Scarlet. Let's see what this one looks like. Ooh, this is strong. I like these colors. They're very strong. I'll probably, when I get to the greens and other colors, I'll get to some that I don't have much use for, but for now we're good. Now we have Madder Red, another color that I usually really like. So let's see what we got here. So this one's a bit cooler yet. So you can see we're moving on and making the paints a little cooler as we move along. This is a really nice transition. These will be useful because I do like a lot of primary colors, just not a lot of convenience mixtures. Next one we have Violet. Let's see here what this one looks like. And hopefully the phone films well as well. I find that with these papers that are a little simpler, it's sometimes hard for some reason to produce a dark value. I don't know why, but that's like one of the ailments of papers that aren't as high quality. But that's fine, it's just test paper. So Permanent Violet is up next. Ooh, this one is, this looks like Carbazole Violet. It's actually, I believe, the same pigment, PV23, if I recall correctly. And you can see by the pen that this is a very strong color, and it can probably maintain this strength with a better paper, and can be even stronger. Next up we have Cobalt Blue. So cobalts tend to be a little weaker. Let's see how this one fares. Used a bit too much water. Let's soak some of that back up. That's a really, really nice color. Next up we have French Ultramarine, also known as France Ultramarine. That's PB29. Here we go. I actually like Cobalt a little better. I find it looks a little better generally. They can be very, very similar. The pigments are close together too. The PB28 for the Cobalt and the PB29 for the French Ultramarine. Next we have PB36. That's Sky Blue. Now I don't remember what 36 is. I don't think it's cerulean, but if it is, please correct me. It does look similar to cerulean in that it isn't too strong and dark, but I don't believe that's it, but I may be mistaken because I don't know much about pigments really. I just choose a couple of primary colors and go with them. But yeah, that's a really nice one too. And next we have Sea Blue, and that is PB153. So that's Phthalo Blue. Now I don't remember the 3 if it's red shade or a different kind of shade, green shade maybe, but this one's also a really strong one. So far I love these. All of the primaries work really well for me. So we have another one next up, so that's the Prussian blue. Prussian blue is a bit more towards the yellow bias, I guess. So a little greenish as well. Very similar again to the phthalo blue we just saw, but very beautiful. So far I'm really happy with these. I was afraid it's going to be too many convenience mixtures, but I may actually have use for many of these. So next we have Payne's Gray. Let's see. So Payne's Gray, this one is definitely has a blue bias, which is good. I don't mind that. By the way, the pigments and everything is listed down here. And sorry that you didn't see the bottom part. That's I messed up. It has a blue bias for sure, like most, I guess, Payne Grays. You can see the pigments here. So and if you want to, I'll include them in the description box. If I haven't, let me know. Next up we have Yellow Green. So that looks a lot like May Green by Schminke on the pan, but here on the paper it's a bit more yellow. I actually like this one. So as a convenience green, because it's not really, it's very strong towards the yellow PY74. I actually really like this one. Next up we have Tree Green. So this, I can already tell I'm not gonna like this one. I know these stuff. So Tree Green, kind of boring. That's sap, which is good. Okay, sap is useful. I don't like it as much, but it is useful. Next we have what seems to be Emerald Green, or no, this is Hooker's Green. Let's check it out. So yeah, this is PG-17. This looks kind of muted, very similar to Perylin Green. Not my favorite, but a nice one to have when you need a muted green. You don't want it to pop too much and maybe look too artificial and boring. And I will show you all of the bottom ones as well more closely in just a moment. Sorry about that. I will move the camera. So next up we have the Emerald Green, which is in fact phthalo green, I guess. So a very artificial one, mixes well with yellow ochre. That's my only hope for these kinds of greens, because I find that they tend to bore me quite a bit when they're very artificial. And funny enough, it is placed next to yellow ochre. So let's give this yellow ochre a try. There we go. So yellow ochre is a color I really like. Now, I haven't yet looked at all of the characteristics of the paints. And actually, let's see if there's an easy to understand legend. There isn't, so I'll actually have to figure it out maybe with an online brochure. Everything is in Chinese, so I can't really tell what's transparent, what's light fast. I'm gonna have to make a bit of a more in-depth research. But in terms of looks, I really like these. Next up we have this weird Pozzuoli red ochre. So red ochre, I think that's the first red ochre I own. I don't think I ever, as far as I can remember, used one, but whenever I saw those kinds of red ochres, I loved them. I saw a couple of other YouTubers review them, and this is beautiful. I really like this one. Next up, we have Umber. So here we go. That's Umber. It's a very orangey umber. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's supposed to be this one, yeah. But it's beautiful. You know what? I usually love orange browns, or more orange browns. Sorry, I went to for the wrong well. So this works out nicely. Next up we have Burnt Sienna. So I wonder how different from the way it looks in the pan it's gonna be. So this is really like a brown Burnt Sienna, more of the brown type. So they make up for it with the I love PR 101. That's a really nice pigment. So here it's Pigment Brown 7. That's a very common one for Burnt Sienna. Next up, we have Burnt Brown. I don't know what Burnt Brown is. And it seems to be the same pigment. So this could be, well, there's Umber, there's, interesting. I'm not sure what that is, but it looks like Daniel Smith's sepia a bit. So yeah, it's same pigment, and I was informed in the previous videos, Swatches comments, that this has to do with how much they burned the pigment, and now I know, so that's probably it. Next up we have Pigment Black 7, which is Coal Black, okay. So this I'll never use unless it's a monochromatic work. I never use premixed blacks. I never get them to look good. I just can't. So yeah. So here we have all of the paints, and luckily the other angle can catch the ones at the bottom. Let me take the camera handheld and show them to you up close. So here we go. Hopefully now you can better see everything. And I'm sorry that some of the paints may obstruct the actual color information. So sorry about that. Here are all of them, all the way to the bottom, the ones you missed. Sorry about that. And here's the palette, and it's quite clean. This surface is meant to bead very easily, and then you have to scratch it in order to cure that. But I actually like that. It doesn't interrupt me. And here are all the pens a little more up close. These are actually beautiful colors, and I may find a couple of useful uses for them. Now, I organized this in the same kind of way, so I can always open this box up and tell which pigment is where. So that's gonna be quite handy. And yeah, this is it. I hope you enjoyed this one. I will do a separate video, maybe showing them more in depth or using them in a painting, and maybe commenting on how I feel about them generally speaking. But that's for next time. So thank you so much, and now let's wrap it up. So this is it for this pink palette. I hope you enjoyed seeing what it looks like. The inside, the outside, the way I did this just so that I can remember what every little pigment is, because I'm not good with too many colors. And also here, this test paper that I filled. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this. I will have to make a separate video in which I actually try these out on a real painting from start to finish. I will have some more first impressions, some more experience using it on the paper I'm used to. That's really important. And then what probably will happen is I'll choose a couple of these that I want to use more regularly. I'll probably dump the rest, not trash them, but I'll probably put them outside of this palette and fill it up with some more paints that I like. But so far, I really like the way these look. I love the palette is of decent quality. It's the really generic type. There's nothing special about it, except for the fact that it's pink, which is really cool. So in any case, this is it. I want to thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in another vid real soon.